Hey all, it is Tuesday the 21st. I hope all of you are well. A couple of days goes by and I just feel like I've completely lost touch with everybody. I hope all of you are well and staying well and helping others be well. And I hope you're using your time. I mean, it's an odd thing, to suddenly be told you've got to stay home. And once you get past the, oh my goodness, no work, no school, no work, no school, you realize that you got to find things to do, and I hope that the things that we find to do are significant. Look, I'm one of those people that always needs to have something to do. I mean, I'm not compulsive, but I like to always do something that I think is meaningful. So I do a lot of reading, I do some writing, I try to watch good movies, good luck with that, and I try to just, find things that are interesting. I have seen my share of bad, have we all watched Tiger King? For the love of God. Anyway, so yeah, we veg out here and there. But this is a good time to reflect, to think about yourself, to think about what your next step is, to think about what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you should be doing. It's a good time to learn something. As we speak, my wife is taking some classes in baking bread. She already knows how to bake bread, but she's getting better at it. I'm doing online things. I'm learning more about music and playing the guitar. You can't see them in here, but I've got two guitars in here, and there's another one outside. So I'm always playing. I'm trying to get better at things, and so that by the end of this, when we all finally are able to leave and walk outside again, we've got something to take with us that we didn't have before. And I know this is going to sound typical of a professor, but in this class, we have literature, and I know there are a lot of you who, aren't as passionate about literature as someone like me, but it's, if you give it a chance, there's something out there for everybody, whether it's a mystery book or it's a play, or it's some sort of a poem that you really felt like you didn't expect to like it, but you do. Or just a novel, some sort of crazy science fiction novel. I just finished reading, I think I might have mentioned this, I just finished reading Frankenstein. I never read it before. I've seen the movies, nothing like the movies, and it was a joy. I couldn't wait. Didn't want to put it down. So yeah, I mean, I'm rediscovering things. I'm discovering things that I should have known when I was in high school or college, and so this is a chance to get back to the world outside and learn and offer what you've learned. I think we should all have a goal to come out of this with something to offer, whatever that is. Anyway, let's go back to why we're here. Oh, we're here about the Oedipus. Look, I have no idea how many of you have read it. I hope you have read it. As I said in the other videos, it doesn't take long to read. You don't have to read the chorus, but if you have the time, do it. And on the syllabus, I allotted 2 separate weeks at least, or 2 classes to this, and so I'm trying to give you time to think about this. There'll be other things to consider to write your final paper on, but certainly this will be one of the choices, and the final paper, well, we still have to work on that. But anyway, there are just a couple of things that, if you're interested in this, because it's not like anything we did in class already or will do. It's an ancient Greek play by Sophocles. Nobody reads these anymore unless you're in theater. But they do bring up, as I said in the other video, large ideas. And so I just collected a couple of things. This won't take long. I just want to read a couple of things that critics have written about this play. So it's sort of food for thought. If you are thinking about it, there's lots of interesting people. Obviously, Oedipus, as I said last time, no matter how you want to look at this play, he's searching. And there's all kinds of interpretations, which I mentioned, searching for himself, searching for the killer of his father, searching for meaning, whatever it is, Oedipus is looking. And that idea is something we can all relate to, especially now, since we're all quarantined, to search for, what are we looking for? What am I doing? You know, let me take a stock of my life. Who am I? Why am I here? What, if I'm not working and I'm not going to school and I'm not doing this, what is the purpose of my being here? And that can, you know, the answers to the questions aren't always right there in front of us, but we should think about them. I mean, they're interesting things to think about, and they sometimes help make you make decisions that you wouldn't normally make. Interesting decisions, you know, which way to go, what job to take, what movie to watch, what book to read, you know, which party you're going to go to eventually, whatever. So a little thing about, there's him, there's the wife, of course, Jocasta, there's Creon, whose name escaped me last time. Creon is Jocasta's brother. He eventually becomes king, and he's king in the next play, which is called Antigone. We're not doing that play, but an interesting play if you want to read it. And so, and then you have Tiresias, which is the man who can see, he's blind, but he can see what's happening in the world. He knows the future and what happened and all that. And so, again, just to point out that what complicates things in this play, in some ways, what challenges us, I should say, is this whole notion of fate and destiny. And again, I mentioned it quickly, but this warrants reading. It says, the one-word derivative fate is connected in our language to the word fatality. You know, to end, to die. Or fatalism, the idea of it's all going to be over soon anyway, so what's the purpose of it all? Fate, here's where it gets interesting. The word fate implies that there's no choice and ends fatally with a death, right? Fate is an outcome determined by an outside agency, the gods, Zeus and all the other gods on Mount Olympus in the Greek mythology. They're all up there playing with us, right? And they act on us. So we are the ones being affected by fate. Destiny implies that you are participating in something, that the outcome is possibly predetermined, but you have a part in it directly related to you. You know, you are participating willfully. Whereas in fate, you're not always participating willfully, even if you don't know it. Used in the past tense, destiny and fate are virtually interchangeable. Both imply one's lot, one's future, one's fortunes, one's determination, including all of what's led up to you now. It was fate that led me here in front of this video, talking to you. For instance, it was her destiny to become the leader. It was her fate to be the leader, or his fate to be the king. It was, look at what's happened, of course he did, that kind of thing. I read off a bunch of themes last time too. Check the other video for that. You know, truth versus real truth and sight versus blindness. There are a couple of interpretations also of the play by critics, and here's one. And this one says that somebody argues that the gods, again, all of the gods are good. They're just. They give out justice. They're not unfair. And that Oedipus is at fault. It's all his fault because of the word I gave you last time, hubris, H-U-B-R-I-S, which means pride. The idea that it never considers thinking about himself is his downfall. He's searching for someone other than himself. He burns bridges. He accuses Creon of plotting against him. he calls in Tiresias, who you're supposed to listen to. He's the smart guy, and he doesn't. He calls him a fool, and Tiresias virtually tells him, "You're the problem. You killed your father. You caused this. You're the only one who can fix it." And this is not something that Oedipus believes. Not that he doesn't believe that it's true. He doesn't believe that it can be true. And that's where hubris comes in. Another interpretation of this play, if you like, is that the gods are at fault. That they screwed up, or that they're being mean. Oedipus is an innocent victim in all of this. He never stood a chance. I mean, when you think about what was announced, I told you in the story, Oedipus's parents were told, "Hey guys, you're going to have a son. He's going to kill you and sleep with you." And, oh my God! Now you can't beat the gods. So even though they tried to get rid of the baby was saved, brought to another couple. He was raised. He goes to run away, runs right smack into his father and kills him. Sleeps with his mother. In some ways, it's true. Oedipus didn't stand a chance. What possible chance did he have? Which means that the universe, if you want to be philosophical about this, is an unfair, malignant place. It's gonna kill you. Because he never really intentionally kills his father or sleeps with his mother. He doesn't know that it's his father and mother, so he can't be blamed for that. A third one is that Oedipus is an admirable but imperfect person. He pities suffering and his kingdom. He desires the truth. The gods are mysterious, so we can feel him. This is where he becomes a tragic figure, tragic in the old, traditional Greek way. Somebody who was highly popular and loved, crashing down and becoming, falling into misery or death. There's other things. There's the idea of that we are radically insecure as human beings. We just never know what's going to happen. There's that sense. Even now, look at us. Nobody would have predicted this virus last year or 6 months ago. Who knows? Who knew? And so on some level, there's how much control do we have in our lives at all? Because that can be dangerous. Once you start thinking about how much control you have or you don't have, you can get a little wacky on that. So don't get too crazy on me. Just it's an interesting idea that we live in a world that is ultimately not within our control. I mean, just look at the weather. I mean, today the forecast says windy up to 50 miles an hour with hail. It's April 21st. That's not supposed to happen. But we have no power over that. We just have to make sure that our windows are shut and I don't lose power, and just keep your fingers crossed. Hope. Human blindness, again, the whole belief, language again, the word blind meaning your eyes are really not working, physically blind, or blind to not seeing something that you should be able to see. In other words, a non-understanding of something. There's justice and injustice. How do you even define justice and injustice? And again, these are big words. Destiny and fate, big words. I mentioned free will. Those people who take a Christian belief that we all have free will, we can make our own choices. How does that make sense if you also believe, and they did believe in Christianity, and a lot of them, how do you reconcile that with fate? If you got free will, then why are we thinking about the fact that our lives are already mapped out for us? And if we do believe that our lives are mapped out for us, where does free will fit in? How does that even make any sense? Of course, the main issue that I brought up last time was self-awareness. And again, I think it's a very interesting idea. considering our situation right now with this corona thing. You know, we're all suddenly very aware of ourselves and our family and friends, or whoever we're living with or in the room with. We're insanely aware of this, as more than we were before. So what does it mean to be aware? What are you aware of? What do you do with this awareness? How does it make any sense? Is it good? Or do men and women just like to be distracted all the time? I got an email from someone this morning saying, yeah, I have to go out and do this, looking forward to the distraction. And I thought to myself, distracted from what exactly? I mean, I know constant reminders of the coronavirus, I get that. But other than that, what are we being distracted from? We're actually focusing mindfully on ourselves. So how does this... Food for thought, folks. Suddenly we're very philosophical here in English 102. And one more thing, I want to remind everybody of the question that is on the discussion board. I'll just read it to you so we understand it. It's already typed up there. I'm not getting a lot of responses yet. It's probably because you haven't read the play yet. It says in scene 3, lines 157 and 158. You can find the scenes and the line there. It's very easy to find. Oedipus says, he says this. He says, let it come, however base my birth. In other words, however ridiculously ordinary my birth might have been, I must know about it. So my question is, why does he need to know his history? And by extension, why do people very often seek the truth or their past, even if they know it might be damaging or painful or fatal? Again, I don't know if I mentioned it in the other video, but you know, I've had students and I've known people who have been adopted, and some of them don't want to know anything about their birth parents, and some of them just, that's all they can think about. And the question is, you know, why? You know, what exactly do you want to meet your birth parents for? Now, I'm not criticizing it. I'm simply bringing up the idea of when, okay, once obviously something happened that caused the situation, and you are adopted and raised by hopefully good parents. What is the reason for this? It gets all kinds of cliche reasons like closure, whatever that means, or something. Some people get angry and they want to yell at them. Why'd you do this to me? I want an answer for this, or whatever the reasons are. But it's interesting to ask if there's nothing particularly physical about it, like that you want to know your genetic makeup or something like that for various diseases and other situations, medical situations. Then why do you want to know? I mean, if all of us suddenly found out that our parents who raised us weren't our real parents, I think there'd be some curiosity to it. But is it a requirement in your lifetime to know it? And if it is, that's fine. Then the next question is why? And if it's not, same question. Why is it not important? It's, again, big stuff. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say for today. I'm considering a Zoom. I'm going to try to float that out there with you guys in a day or so and see if you all have that app. It's very easy to use, and I think it might be a good idea to at least Zoom once as a class. We'll do it at a time that we would have met in class, a Tuesday or a Thursday morning. I'm thinking around 9, so people can, you know, sleep late or whatever. But we'll see. I'll let you know in an email soon. Please look at your emails. Please watch the videos. Please answer the discussion board question about Oedipus. And then read the next couple of plays. There's a small play called Trifles and an even smaller play called Poof, which we should look at again. I wish we could read it together, but I need you to at least know about it, and I'll do a video on those two because they're related in some way. And in the meantime, that's it. Peace, everybody. Take care of yourselves.